Before 1776, the American colonies were under British rule. At first, people trusted the British Crown and believed it would protect them. But important decisions were made far away in London. New laws were forced on the colonies without their permission. Taxes kept increasing, yet the people had no voice. British soldiers filled colonial streets to control the population. Slowly, anger replaced loyalty. A simple but powerful question began to rise: why should free people live without a voice? As British control grew stronger, life in the colonies became harder. New taxes were placed on everyday goods. Paper, tea, and basic items became expensive. The people were angry, not poor by choice but by force. They paid taxes, yet had no representation. The phrase "no taxation without representation" spread quickly. Protests began in streets and town squares. British soldiers responded with force. Tension filled the air in major cities. In Boston, a clash turned deadly. Civilians were killed by British fire. This moment shocked the colonies. Anger turned into unity. Resistance was no longer silent. The Boston Tea Party followed. Colonists dumped tea into the harbor. This act was open defiance. Britain answered with harsh punishment. Ports were closed and freedoms reduced. Instead of fear, determination grew. The colonies were moving toward rebellion. As the war continued, the idea of independence grew stronger in the colonies. People began to realize that freedom could not exist under a distant king. Writers and thinkers played a powerful role in changing public opinion. Thomas Paine's pamphlet Common Sense reached towns, farms, and villages. It explained independence in simple words that everyone could understand. Fear slowly gave way to courage across the colonies. The question was no longer about protest, but about complete separation. History was pushing the people toward a bold decision. In the summer of 1776, the colonies moved closer to a final decision. Leaders gathered in Philadelphia to discuss the future of America. A committee was formed to write a bold statement to the world. Thomas Jefferson was chosen to draft the document. He wrote about natural rights that belong to every human being. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness became central ideas. The document clearly explained why British rule had failed. King George III was accused of years of injustice and abuse. Every sentence was written with care and courage. The words were meant to change history forever. In the summer of 1776, the colonies moved closer to a final decision. Leaders gathered in Philadelphia to discuss the future of America. A committee was formed to write a bold statement to the world. Thomas Jefferson was chosen to draft the document. He wrote about natural rights that belong to every human being. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness became central ideas. The document clearly explained why British rule had failed. King George III was accused of years of injustice and abuse. Every sentence was written with care and courage. The words were meant to change history forever. On July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress made a historic decision. The Declaration of Independence was officially adopted in Philadelphia. This was not a moment of celebration, but of great risk. By approving the document, the colonies openly challenged British rule. The delegates knew they were committing treason in the eyes of the Crown. If they failed, they would lose their lives, land, and families. Yet one by one, they stood firm behind the words. The declaration was read aloud to the public. Bells rang as the news spread slowly across the colonies. America had declared itself free, even though the fight was far from over. After declaring independence, the war became even harder. The British Army fought fiercely to regain control. American soldiers faced hunger, cold, and exhaustion. Winter at Valley Forge tested their spirit and strength. Men marched barefoot and ate very little. Yet, hope and determination never died. The declaration became more than words. It became a reason to fight. Ordinary citizens joined the army and supported the cause. Farmers, merchants, and families sacrificed comfort for freedom. Victories on the battlefield boosted morale and courage. Foreign nations like France began to support the colonies. Supplies, soldiers, and weapons arrived from abroad. Slowly, the tide of war began to change. The dream of independence started feeling real. Every small victory inspired more resistance. People learned that freedom came at a high price. The struggle united the colonies like never before. By standing together, they became stronger than the British expected. The fight was chaotic, dangerous, and relentless. But the hope of a free nation kept their spirits alive. The Declaration of Independence changed the world forever. It was more than a document. It was a symbol of freedom. Its words inspired not just Americans, but people everywhere. It showed that governments exist to serve the people. And when governments fail, people have the right to act. Though America struggled with many challenges, the dream of liberty endured. Men and women remembered the courage of 1776. The names of those who signed the Declaration became legendary. Their actions showed that ordinary people could make history. Ideas of equality, freedom, and human rights spread across the globe. Revolutions in Europe and other lands followed its example. Even today, its message resonates with all who seek freedom. It reminds us that liberty is not given. It is claimed. That courage and unity can overcome oppression. That a single voice, joined with others, can change the world. History remembers the men of 1776 not for power, but for vision. They dared to imagine a better world. They dared to act. And their declaration continues to inspire generations.